When it comes time to prime your pool pump, I think pretty much everybody knows by this point you're supposed to put water in it and then turn it on. And that leaves a lot of people asking the question, okay, well I did that and I turned it on and nothing happened. Like it makes noise, but the chamber never fills up with water. Maybe describe a situation where there's a small trickle of water coming in. Ultimately, the pump's not going like it's supposed to. The instructions aren't exactly clear in that regard. In that, fill the pump up with water, close the lid and turn it on. Let it run for, let's say, 3 minutes. If it doesn't start, stop it, open it, fill it with water again, and it's good to use a bucket as opposed to a garden hose, so with a bucket of water you can fill it very quickly. Fill it very quickly, put the lid on, start it up. What's happening is that the water, very likely the pump is installed above the elevation of the water line in the pool, so that the water is going into the pump and then just tracing backwards downward through the suction line all the way back to the pool. So you want to pour a whole bunch of water in there pretty quickly, even let some of it overflow into that suction line, and then put the lid on, turn the pump on, let it run for 3 minutes again. And it's not uncommon to have to do this, let's say 3 to 5 times. And the reasons why you might have to do that is you might have some sort of leak in your system. For example, the O-ring on your pump lid could be dried out, misplaced, or displaced, crushed. There could be lots of reasons. You should use a silicone-based lubricant and lubricate the O-ring. Put the lid back on, see if it starts now, of course after filling it with water again. Every time you turn it off and open the lid, fill it up with water again. Grease the O-ring, put the lid back on, start it up. Again, 3 to 5 times having to do that process is not uncommon to start up a pump. And if you're experiencing a lot of problems with that, it could be that you have a suction side leak somewhere in the system. Imagine that buried below ground there's a tiny crack where the pipe, the suction line connects to the underside of your pool skimmer. And every time you put the system under load, just a tiny bit of air is allowed into there. Well, that's enough to not defeat, but reduce the effectiveness of a closed-loop plumbing system. Now your pump has to work against that air loss in the system, and that's what's making it have to work a little harder. Could also be that your pump is getting older and it's just not as strong as it used to be. Could be that the motor is somewhat underpowered. Could be that you have a flow restriction in the line. That's kind of the first thing that people think of, is all of them, my pipes must be blocked. I mean, it can happen. I mean, if you've been vacuuming acorns recently, then yeah, you got a good chance that that could be the case. But it's actually pretty rare to get a suction side plug like that. There's a lot of prevention in place, like the skimmer baskets and things like that, that are supposed to stop that from happening. That being said, that in a worst case scenario could be the situation, but I would most likely need to see an indicator that there's a reason why you suspect a plug, like you were vacuuming a heavy debris load of leaves or something like that. Otherwise, just keep filling the pump with water, turning it on, and probably pretty soon it's going to start up in prime, and then in theory, all the air that's in the system will evacuate, and you shouldn't see anything but crystal clear water down through the lid of your pump.